So this is from Curtis Yarvin. So this is his Substack. So he's just highlighting Trump, narrative and reality in Trump 47. Okay, so a few main ideas from this. I'll be reading it with you and kind of just highlighting like my thoughts. Okay, highlights at the beginning. No one expected Trump 45, and we seem to know what we're getting now with Trump 47. Okay, he highlights the idea that we should actually just forget everything, forget the whole story, the myth of Trump. Okay, he goes on to talk to, he highlights his conversation with a guy that was at the election night party that had been been involved in Trump 45's administration. Claims that the administration, when he says lockdown, I think they're highlighting like they're going to choose everyone within 72 hours. This idea that Elon Musk needs to get his people in within 72 hours. Okay, and then he kind of gets into this idea of like Trump is not going to have a lot of options outside of neoconservatives because of their skill set, right? So right here he's talking about, okay, so he's talking about Hook, former aide of Mike Pompeo, Trump's Secretary of State, highlights, yes, these people are neoconservatives. And then you highlight, like, people think that Trump's there to vote out neoconservatives, but that Trump, right, that he's going to be doing like a more protectionist rhetoric. Okay, so this idea right here saying he doesn't make the rules. Okay, so he's talking about like for specific positions, right? So he talks about if he needs a helicopter pilot. He's using this as an analogy for like other positions. There are two kinds of helicopter pilots he could hire: red helicopter pilots, blue helicopter pilots. He's red, so he needs red pilots. So he's bringing up the idea that for a lot of the positions that Trump's going to fill, he can either choose like a Democrat or a Republican. He's going to go with the Republican, but it just so happens to be that all of the Republicans that have that skill set, that they are going to be like neoconservatives. And then he brings up an alternative to that. It's like, or you could find some cool guy, says like me, that doesn't have experience flying a helicopter and see if they can fly it on the first try. So basically it's the idea of like, is Trump going to bring in outsiders that aren't neoconservatives, or is he going to stick with people that already have that proven skill set that are neoconservatives? So again, just brings up this idea he's going to have like thousands of jobs with various helicopter pilots with different experience, with different models, and that's like what he has to fill. So he's kind of arguing the idea like for Trump to do exactly what he wants to, it's not going to like fit neatly. It's not going to necessarily work super cleanly. Brian Hook is there to make Trump look like he's in charge and look good. Okay, right here is highlighting the idea that Trump already has a posse, a layer of Trumpian administrators that isn't large, but it can grow as needed. Social network of the last administration, it's purged itself of opportunists. So I don't know if he's referring to people like the generals. He's not really specific here. It's pretty vague. Consists of talented, energetic, excellent people who are fun to talk to. People who chose values over careers. Brings up this idea you can't be an isolationist NCS staffer. If you're actually like still following this, I'm not convinced that this is very good writing. He throws around a lot of names that I'm not even convinced his readers know, but it makes him look smart. He's talking about Napoleon Cromwell. He's talking of Carlyle. Now, he may understand who Carlyle is. But the idea that the average reader that's looking at his stuff does, the average tech bro looking at his stuff understands that, like, not so convinced. Whatever Washington in 2024 is, it was not made for us or for our objects at all. Turning Twitter into X was like turning Ford into Tesla. Turning the USG into what it should be is like turning the Taliban into OpenAI. Brings up the question, should Elon be using his remaining 48 hours to get his people in the door? Honestly, probably not. Uses this analogy of turning the Taliban into OpenAI. I don't know if he's referring to like more Washington establishment as the Taliban, saying to do it you have to defeat the Taliban and then create OpenAI. It calls it FDR's bureaucratic caliphate. So I think he's highlighting that, or bringing up the idea that what Washington is now is just a creation of FDR.